Welcome to NASC 190, Global Climate Change. My name is Paul Castleberry, and I am facilitating this course for this term. This is actually a new course. A little background on the particular course itself is I was approached over the summer, this past summer, to offer a new course for education majors as part of their certification. There were two topics that education majors need. One is in energy and the other is in biogeochemical processes. And with my background as an atmospheric scientist, those two areas play into my level of expertise. And so I have put together a course and I'm looking forward to offering it this term. So what I figured we'd do, I'll give you a little background about myself. My full-time job is at Iowa State University. I am a classification officer for the College of Engineering, and I've been in that position for the last 7 years and been with Iowa State the last 20 years. My background in terms of my teaching, which I've been doing at Simpson College since 2007, they hired me to create a new course called Introduction to Meteorology, which I'm still offering to this day. So I've been offering that for the last 8 years. But to give you a little bit of background about my education, I have both an undergraduate degree and a master's degree in atmospheric sciences, and I have a PhD in agricultural climatology. My PhD is from Iowa State University, and my undergraduate is Northeast Louisiana, now known as the University of Louisiana at Monroe, and my master's degree was earned at the University of Kansas. So as you can tell, I've moved further north throughout my time in education. So this course itself, how's it going to work? Well, let's take a look at the Scholar page for it. So for example, you get into the Scholar page, the Global Climate Change, and you will see this is actually the student view, so I've put myself in as a student for the student view. The first thing that I would point out is the syllabus, and I just want to spend a couple of minutes with the syllabus going over that. So the actual title of the course is Geological Energy and Global Climate Change. And there's my contact information. And I'm actually going to offer, and I did this with my previous course, online office hours. I will offer them every Monday and Thursday from 7 to 8 p.m. And I'll use something called Webex. And let me just go ahead and log into Webex and I can show you kind of what it looks like. And so what I will do each week is I'll set up an online meeting site on Webex. So if you have any questions about any of the assignments, feel free to drop in and visit with me during office hours. It's not required. This is a completely online course. So this is not required attendance. However, if you have questions, it might be a good idea to drop in sometime and feel free to post those questions to me. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up the meeting sites on Webex, and what will end up happening is that you will get an email from Webex letting you know the time and location, the online location of the meeting. And so you can see from the previous term, I had office hours each week. I had it Tuesday and Thursday each week that I would offer. And then occasionally I'd have a student stop by and ask me a question, spend some time, and I would help them with their particular question. But like I said, you will receive an automatic email from me letting you know, I should say, how to log in and get online. So if you have questions, feel free to drop by with the online office hours. So the course description itself, again, is to help, like I mentioned earlier, This will provide you a background in something we call biogeochemical processes and energy. And before we get into those particular topics in this course, we need to learn about Earth system science. So I'm going to provide a background. We're going to have some background information for the first, let's see, looks like we get into biogeochemical processes during our 8th meeting, I believe. So I'm going to provide you with background information. There is no prerequisite for this course, and so whatever you will need to know in terms of prerequisite type materials, I'll provide that for you. So I'm going to get you up to speed on that. The objectives that I have listed here, I want you to have a basic understanding of science and how that impacts us. I want to be able to provide you with background in this course necessary so that you can be informed on local, national, and global issues. And then the assignments that I'll have for you will make real-world connections. So the assignments are just not plug-and-chug assignments, although some are, but most of the assignments will help you to connect what we're learning in this course with what is going outside in the world. And then we're going to use some simulations. These are fun. We'll use some computer simulations to help construct your knowledge on physical principles related to the topics at hand. I think it's the first chapter, maybe it's the second chapter, we're going to talk about scientific method. I'm sure you've heard of scientific method before, but we'll talk about that. And then simply, you're going to learn science by doing it. So I hope you enjoy that part of it. It will be fun. So the design of the course itself is that each week you will have like a lecture activity, a pre-recorded lecture activity that I will put on, providing you background in that week's topic. We will also have group discussion topics as part of this course. And the way I'm going to do this is that I've divided you up into teams of 2. So you and your partner will actually get a topic related to Earth system science, and you will follow the directions I provide you and have an online discussion. So what I'm looking at with the online discussion topics, I want to see if you were able to successfully synthesize the material that's been presented for that particular topic. You're going to be doing readings from the text, so you need to have a textbook. Let me show you what type of textbook you need. And I believe I sent that out to you. In an email earlier, back in December. But if not, I'm going to show you what the textbook looks like. Give me just a moment to log in. I've got an online textbook. So whether you prefer to purchase an online textbook or a real physical textbook, I've got both. I've got a physical textbook and then I've got this online textbook. The textbook itself is this one here, and it's called Environmental Science, Earth is a Living Planet, the 9th edition. If you've got the 8th edition, you're going to need the 9th edition because there are some things in the 9th edition, especially with biogeochemical processes, that are not available in the 8th edition. The authors you see right there, Botkin and Keller. So make sure you have this textbook because from week 1 we're going to begin reading out of that. Each week you'll have homework, quizzes, assignments. We will have a term paper. I'll talk about that later in the term. So you see what I have here is the breakdown, the time you're going to spend total for each of these areas. So for viewing lectures that I have over the 16 weeks, you'll be spending about 1 day's worth, or 24 hours. Most of the lectures, the online lectures that I provide, will be right around 50 to 60 minutes. So we're not talking about 2 or 3 hour type lectures. The term paper itself, expect to spend about 16 hours total. The homework, quizzes, assignments, labs, about 48, 32, for a total of 144 hours. So this is a 4-credit course with a lab, and so you're required to spend at least 144 hours total in a 4-credit course with a lab, any of those courses. So basically this works out to about 9 hours per week. So some weeks it'll be 6, other weeks 9, but on average about 9 hours per week you'll spend working on this course. I'm also going to give you suggestions on how to approach each week, where to spend your time, when to start with the videos and the reading, because I want to be able to help keep you on pace so you don't get behind in the course. Here's the topics we'll look at. We're not going to be doing every chapter in the book, but we will start off with Chapter 1, talking about environmental science. And then in Chapter 2, we'll talk about actually what science is. Then Chapter 4, we will talk about systems of change, Earth system science. That's what we're going to be looking at in this course. And we need to understand how the different systems or the different compartments with Earth systems actually function. And in the Earth system science, we will talk about biogeochemical processes, and then we'll spend several weeks talking about energy. We'll define what energy is. I'll begin to get you up to speed. Then we'll talk about fossil fuels in the environment, alternative energy in the environment. We will look at nuclear energy as well. Do you know that France, for the last, I think it's been the last 40 years, since the mid-70s, France has powered, most of their power is generated by nuclear energy. And then we'll spend the last couple of weeks talking about, we'll take all of that information that we've learned earlier and apply that to climate change. That is a really hot topic. Pun intended. Yes, pun intended there. It is a very controversial topic, and so we'll spend some time learning about that. So the course itself, each week you'll have online lectures. Like I said, that'll be about 1 hour. I'll have some supplementary materials on Scholar. For instance, I'll have some web links up there for articles for you to review. These are like one-page articles. Doesn't require a tremendous amount of time. We'll be using simulations, computer simulations, which are really cool and fun to do. You'll be doing homework, quizzes, assignments, labs. This is how you're going to learn, how you're going to show me that you've been able to successfully understand the topics that have been presented. And then you'll also have discussion topics as well, you and one of your partners in the course. And then any other assignments that I deem necessary, or if students have an idea for an assignment, I'm open to that as well. There's the textbook. I've talked about that. I've shown you that. The laboratory itself, the lab, and you'll see right here, I'll come back to that in a moment, but labs, homework, assignments, these are all ways that I can gauge or determine or basically evaluate how well you've been able to synthesize the material. It's one thing reading a textbook, but it's another actually putting it into practice. And as education majors, you understand that. You understand that even better than I do, probably. The grading scale itself, you can take a look there. I'm hoping everyone in this course earns an A. We have 17 students in the course as of the time this particular video module was created. I hope everyone scores at least an A. More than likely there will be some B's and C's in there, but in all of my courses that I teach, the grades are typically pretty high because I think I do a pretty decent job of laying out the material and the expectations, and I kind of coach my students through the assignments on when they should start working on it, when they should be done. I do this especially for online courses because it's easy to lose track of time and to put things off. So I'm going to build a lot of infrastructure in for you to encourage you to stay up on this course. Here's the grade breakdown. Check this out. You'll have 9 exams. We're going through 9 chapters. We'll have 9 exams. The exams will be mainly multiple choice, maybe 1 discussion question or 1 essay question for each one. But notice the total of 9 exams make up 10% of your grade. That's it. So each exam is worth about 1%, just a shade over. It's about 1.2%. So exam 1 is worth 1.2%, exam 2 is worth 1.2%, and so on. So let's say you earn 100% on each of the exams. Well, it's only 10%, so it's not going to move your grade very much. Term paper will be about 1/5. It will be 1/5 of your grade, 20%. Group discussion topics with you and your partner will be 20%. And I'm going to provide you a rubric on the group discussion. And in fact, if I go back here just a moment to the Scholar site, you see right here, I've got a rubric for discussion topics from Dr. Susan Wegman. She's a professor of education and the director of program development, special programs at Baptist College of Florida. It's important, if you use something that is not yours, something you've created, be sure to provide a citation for that. That's very important, and I'll talk about that later in the course, especially when we start talking about your term paper. But if you click on this, this is how I'm going to evaluate each of your discussion topics. So there you go. You'll notice the expected level of competence is worth 2 points, moving toward expected level 1, and not acceptable 0 points. So the maximum you can score on a discussion, obviously the expected level of competence. And then for the content understanding for each of the topics, there's a subset of bullets that I will use in evaluating your discussion. So you'll take this rubric with you and you'll be able to tell what I'm looking for each of these different topics. So for content understanding, for reasoning, interaction with others, your partner, language conventions, are you using the correct vocabulary, the mechanics of your writing. Those are the things that I'll be evaluating on your group discussion topics. So you know how I'm going to grade it. Just make sure that as you're working on your group discussion topic, that you're operating within the accepted level of competence. Okay, let's go back to the syllabus. You're probably hearing a background noise. That's me moving the mouse, so I apologize for that. You'll see that half of your grade in this course will be on assignments, problem sets, homeworks, labs, quizzes, the simulation. So that's where you're going to be spending a lot of your time, is making sure that your competence is actually being measured effectively with these types of assignments. Okay, let's talk about how you get a hold of me. I am available via phone and email. I do have daytime employment at ISU, so I'm not accessible during the day between the hours of 7:30 to 5 on Friday, so I'm not available at this time. I mean, you can certainly email me or call me and leave me a message, but I will be available each night between 6 and 8 p.m., so if you have any questions. Now, those won't be office hours, but those are times that if you need to call me, feel free to call me. And anytime during the weekdays and weekends are fair game. Okay? Probably want to hold off calling me after 10 o'clock. I'll be in bed by then. Make sure that you take time to review the academic integrity policy that I've pulled out of the Simpson catalog. And if you're a student needing any kind of disability accommodation, please go to this website here. So I do a copy and paste on this website. I believe I checked this earlier and it's still an accurate link. There you go. So it's the Hawley Academic Resource Center. There's the contact information in terms of phone or email. So if there are any disability resources that you need, please use the resources that Simpson makes available for you. And then, of course, this particular, the syllabus that I have is actually written in part from contributions from all of these units here. And like I said, again, it's important that you cite, you acknowledge things that are not, or things that you have not created exclusively. Okay, so there's the syllabus. Let's go back to our Scholar site here. So let's take a look at, oh, I've also put this in here for you. This is an online chat session that you can use to talk with your group members or digitally communicate. So for instance, you can click here to enter the chat. And so maybe you and your partner email each other and say, hey, I'm going to be online at 7 o'clock on a Wednesday night or Thursday night. Let's get on at the same time and let's chat digitally. So you can see this is a test chat. You can send that, and there it pops up there. Or just feel free to call each other on the cell phone. But I've put that up here, and it's a resource you can use. You can use it, or if you decide not to use it, that's fine, however you wish to do that. Okay, let's take a look at how the weeks work. January 11th through the 17th. So the online course begins on Monday, January 11th. And you will see the first thing I have listed here is to read Chapter 1. So Chapter 1 of our textbook. Let's see if I can do this here. There we go. So Chapter 1 here. And it breaks it down into all the other areas. So it's 20 pages. So you've got 20 pages to read. And here are all the subtopics. So here is what I would recommend. So each week I'm going to coach you with this video that I'll send out no later than Sunday evening each week. So if I were you, I would have Chapter 1 read no later than Tuesday. So that gives you 2 days. And then I would suggest by Tuesday, you start after you have read. Now I would suggest you read the chapter first. 20 pages, not long at all. So by Tuesday, now you're reviewing the lecture that I've put on Scholar for Chapter 1. So if you click on that, you'll see a YouTube video.
Such as human population growth. This would be in terms of the environment. Welcome to Chapter 1. And specifically in Chapter 1, we'll be talking about key themes in environmental sciences. And the overview, we will be looking at major themes such as human population growth. It can help provide solutions.
So you see I can scan through this. It's like any YouTube video. You can move to any part and go ahead and start.
And then significance and fairness.
And so you see this particular video lecture for Chapter 1 is 50 minutes. Actually 51 minutes. So by Tuesday, again, I want to make sure you stay where you don't get behind. So by Tuesday, I would have this done. So Monday and Tuesday, read your chapter and at least view Chapter 1 video by Tuesday. Now, what I've also done is I've made the PowerPoint slides available to you. Now, what some students have done in the past, as they're viewing the video lecture, they have went ahead and printed out the PowerPoint slides. And I'm not saying you have to print it out, but some students like to take notes. And so what they end up doing, I'll see if I can remember. But one of my students several years ago showed me this, and I thought, hey, this is a great idea. So what they ended up doing, let's see, I think you can print these out with notes. So let's see if we can preview this and see what this looks like. Again, I'm not saying you have to do this, but that is one option that you could do. So you see right here, you could print out each of the 35 slides, or I think there's a more efficient way of doing this. You could do like, 4 slides per page. That way you're not printing out as much paper, and you can take your notes underneath here. So you print these out and you view the video at the same time. So that's an option that you could do if you decide to do that. But I do make that resource available for you. And then I have a couple of videos that talk about world population. So in Chapter 1, obviously we're talking about world population. Part of Chapter 1 as well talks about a sustainable world. And then I have an article on the Earth's carrying capacity. So what I would recommend that you do is have these videos viewed and the article read. So this particular video here is 2 minutes and 46 seconds. So it doesn't require a lot of time. I have an article here on the Earth's carrying capacity. You click on that, and it's a one-page article that I would like you to read over. And then you have, so now by the time you hit Thursday or Friday, you should have, you can check these off. You should have this complete, this. So by the time you get to Thursday or Friday, you have these completed, and now you're ready to work on your quiz. So for the first week, I've got a quiz on Chapter 1, and you see the due date on that, no later than Sunday by 11:55 p.m. And then you have a discussion topic, also due no later than Sunday, January 17th, 11:55 p.m. So by the time you hit the weekend, now you're ready to begin working on your assignments. So let's take a look at the quiz for Chapter 1. Now notice I allow 4 attempts. Actually, I meant to make that 5. So I'm going to go back in there and let me just go back here a moment. Now I'll show you kind of the behind the scenes of what the instructor sees within Scholar. So I'm going back to the instructor side, and I'm going to give you 5 chances on the quiz, and I'll take your highest score. So you should do well on the quizzes each week. Okay, I'm going to give you 5 attempts, and I'm going to take your highest grade. So I'll give you a hint. There are 5 choices on the multiple choice questions. You get 5 attempts. Probably should do pretty well with the quiz. So let me go back to viewing this as a student, like what you would see. And so you click on Chapter 1 quiz. Oh, not available till Monday. So, tell you what, for those of you that want to get an earlier start before the course even begins, Let me go ahead and open up the quiz and the discussion topic now. So if you're reviewing this on Saturday night or Sunday, sometime on Sunday, you can go ahead and start it. Now, again, I'm in the instructor mode right now. This is what you never get to see as a student, how the instructor sees things. And I'm going to do the same thing for the discussion topic. So if you're ready and raring to go, you can start a little bit ahead of time. And I'm going to do the same thing here with the discussion topic. Actually, looks like you should be able to get into the discussion topic now, so there's nothing I have to change there. So again, I'm going to go back to student view, so you can see what you will, I can show you what you'll see as a student. So if we go into quiz 1, should be able to get into it now. So you see there, 5 attempts allowed when the quiz opens and when it closes, and showing that I'm going to take the highest grade. So there you see there are 40 questions, and they're all multiple choice. And if I give you 5 attempts, you've got five options for each question. Seems like you should do pretty well. So you'll go through and fill this out, and then once you're done, let's see if I click on next. Yeah, it's showing I haven't answered anything yet, but once you finish answering all, you can submit. You hit the submit button down here, and then it has been submitted for each time that you do it. Now, what I've done in the past, I think what I'm going to do, well, I'll come back to that in just a moment. Okay, so if we go back to our web page, so you should be working on your quiz by no later than Saturday, and your discussion topic by Saturday as well. So make sure that you get to the assignments by no later than Saturday, preferably earlier. So right here, I have a topic on something called the Precautionary Principle. You don't know what that is right now, but you will be after you've read the chapter and listened to the video lecture. So it's on the Precautionary Principle, and it's environmental debate titled Think Before You Leap or Jump Right In, Principles to Guide Us in Environmental Protection. So there you see something called Issues and Background. Read through these here. And then I give you a scenario. This is what you're going to discuss using what you have learned from Chapter 1 and using the rubric that I provide you. So for this first discussion topic, I've given you a scenario, or a scenario has been given, that you're the head of a government agency in charge of approving newly designed genetically modified crops. Now this is interesting because here in the Midwest we know that we have genetically enhanced crops, our corn crops, and our soybean crops. But a major developer has submitted a new variety of wheat. Wheat's grown down in Kansas, primarily in Kansas, that has been genetically modified to grow in times of drought. That seems good. It has the potential to feed millions of people. However, if the genes escape, there could be untold damage to the native wheat varieties that local people depend upon, as well as the potential to drive native wheat species to extinction. Now that's not good. So the questions that I have for you, would you or would you not approve the new crop? And this is the key. Be sure to use the concepts of the precautionary principle you've learned about to address this topic. Now, which group are you in? Well, in this particular case, me as a student, I would be in group I. So I have groups A through I. 2 people in each group, and so then you and your group member would begin adding your discussion topics here. Response from Paul, just as an example. And then you would type in your responses. And then you would post to the forum. Now you may need to do several posts. But you can go back in here, click on that, and you can edit your post. And I think you have 30 minutes from the time you post before it's locked in. You can edit it, you can delete it, or you can reply to the post. So let me know if you run into any questions there. So, that's about all I have right now. So again, I would encourage you to jump in there, start reading your chapter, view the video lecture. You can use the PowerPoint slides with that. View some of the supplementary material I've provided, and get cracking on Chapter 1 and the discussion topic. Again, for the discussion topic, make sure you download the rubric that I've provided up here so you can see what I'm looking for in each of these areas. Okay, I look forward to getting to know each of you. Please let me know if you have any questions. Again, my contact information is on the syllabus itself. You see my cell phone, my email address, and then I will be online via Webex 2 nights a week from 7 to 8 p.m. Like I said, I'll send you an email, an automated email, where you will click on a link that will take you into Webex. Within Webex, we can do a chat, or we can do audio. We can even do video if you like. If those times don't work for you, and you have a specific time you would like to meet on Webex because you have a question, set up an appointment with me. Drop me an email, and we'll set up an appointment, and we'll meet via Webex at some other time. So, have a good evening, and welcome to the class.